This is Jocko Podcast number 90 with Echo Charles and me, Jocko Willink. Good evening, Echo.
Good evening.
As my wife Tori mentioned, this past week has been one of the most challenging of my life. I want to say thanks to my friends and family for your support. You really have no idea how much a few words of encouragement can mean when you are at a time and place like this. Thanks again. My platoon is in a very active area of operations in southern Afghanistan. Our mission is to close with and destroy the enemy. There is no outside the wire here because there is no wire. My boys are simply always on alert. We haven't had a shower since we've been in Afghanistan. We've run non-stop missions and have been very successful at accomplishing these without experiencing any injuries to our own. I'm just trying to paint a picture of life here and not trying to make you feel sorry for us. Trust me, I belong here with these guys and we are a family. Rather, I want to paint a picture because I'd like to tell you about Travis Mills. I know you don't know him, but it would mean a lot to me to be able to spread his story. My platoon's string of missions without injury came to an abrupt and violent end last week when we hit a dismounted IED during combat operations. I had 3 paratroopers injured from the blast. One was minor, one was severe, and one was simply beyond words. The most severe injury was sustained by my weapons squad leader, Travis Big Mills. I'd like to take the opportunity to tell you about him. Even under the conditions that I've described, he is the best of us. He was the biggest guy in the platoon and has the biggest heart to go with it. He was eager to please and always cheered us up. He led from the front and was injured because of it. He preferred that he take the injury over any man in his squad. He was the most fearless person I have ever seen in combat. When we weren't in combat, he was great to have around. He woke up every morning and sang a bunch of different songs to us. Usually Keisha or Britney Spears or the songs of some other girl band. We had this ritual. Anytime we finished a patrol where we had a firefight, once we returned to the strong point, he'd run to the front of the formation and sing songs about the 82nd Airborne. He would do dance gestures and all. He even did it for the brigade commander when he came to visit. It was a big hit. He laughed at how serious I am and how I don't like to be touched. So he made it his personal mission to make me laugh. Usually this involved an overly aggressive and a little too intimate man hug followed by a middle school style dance where he'd grind on me. He kept me sane. I laughed at his antics constantly. In combat, there is no one we would rather have been with. He risked his life to save others constantly, and I can recall 2 times specifically where he literally saved me. Needless to say, I took his injury hard, including the personal guilt that a leader feels when he is responsible for his men. So I wanted to tell you these things. Everyone is asking how I'm doing. Yes, I am hurting, but you know I'm going to be okay. More importantly, Travis is going to be okay. The truth is, I've seen things here so terrible that I'll never be able to put them into words, Travis's injury being at the top of the list. But I've also seen things here so wonderful that I'll never be able to put them into words either. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. How do you put into words the spirit like the one I've just described in Big Mills? The reality of it is that I have the honor of leading people like Travis. There are many more in my platoon just like him. So while I've seen some things I'd like to never talk about again, I've seen just as many that I'll spend the rest of my life trying to explain to anyone who will listen. I've seen a tremendous love and care between brothers that have only each other to rely on and have only one care: to bring each other home. It's a selfless, deep, everlasting bond that I consider myself lucky and absolutely privileged to be a part of. Thank you so much again for your support, but know that I am fine. I am exactly where I need to be right now. My family here is taking care of each other, and we will persevere as one. Now that is a letter that was written to friends and family at home from Lieutenant Zach Lewis, commander of 1st Platoon, Bravo Troop, 473rd Cavalry Squadron, 4th Brigade Combat Team of the 82nd Airborne Division, the All-Americans. And I think that letter describes Staff Sergeant Travis Mills as only a fellow platoon member could. Explaining his unbelievably positive attitude, his courage under fire, and his unwavering leadership.